He raised his hands, the sandwich in his right palm, and 3 seconds later, a cop pulled the trigger. The town said it was a misunderstanding. The police said it was protocol. But what they didn't say is what makes this case the most disturbing shooting you've never heard of. Narrator: this is the story of the cop who shot a black teen for holding a sandwich. This is the story of the cop who shot a black teen for holding a sandwich. It was a cold October evening in the small town of Amber Falls, a community so quiet, residents joked the annual parade was louder than the crime rate. But that calm shattered at 7:42 p.m. outside a corner store called Harvey's Market. A 17-year-old boy named Jalen Moore walked out holding a warm turkey sandwich, the kind wrapped in brown deli paper, steam still leaking through the seams. He wasn't a troublemaker. No record. No history of violence. Honor roll student. Football scholarship in sight. But at 7:44 p.m., 2 blocks away, a police officer named Ryan Harker radioed dispatch. Suspect holding a firearm. Running. Southeast corner. Moving fast. Except there was no firearm. And the suspect wasn't running. Officer Harker claimed he saw a gun glinting under the streetlight. But Harvey's Market security footage shows something different. Jalen casually unwrapping a sandwich, halfway through his first bite. So why did Harker report gun? A witness later said something chilling. That officer wasn't chasing a suspect. He was chasing a shadow he already believed was dangerous. Let's rewind 5 minutes, because this whole tragedy starts before Jalen even enters the store. A call came in from a local resident. There's a man in a black hoodie pacing outside my window. Looks suspicious. Jalen was wearing a black hoodie, but so were half the teenagers walking home from a high school football scrimmage that night. Officer Harker got the call. He was already tense. He'd responded earlier to a burglary across town. Adrenaline high, mind racing, a bad combo, and as fate would have it, Jalen stepped out of the store the exact moment Harker turned onto that street. According to Harker, Jalen turned aggressively. But according to video analysts, Jalen simply flinched at the sound of tires screeching, a natural human reaction. What happens next is the most crucial 3 seconds of the entire case. And those 3 seconds, they're missing from the bodycam footage. The device glitches, or so the department claims. But experts say that type of glitch is extremely rare. So rare that in the last 6 years, it has only happened once in the entire state. Harker exits the squad car, gun drawn. Witnesses describe Jalen raising his left hand immediately. Left hand, empty. Right hand, sandwich. Not a weapon. Not even shaped like one. Witness: he said, "It's just food, man." He said it calm. No fear. He didn't think he was in danger. But Harker wasn't listening. He fired once, then twice, and a third time as Jalen hit the ground. The sandwich fell beside him, its wrapper soaked in blood. When paramedics arrived, Jalen was still conscious. His last words were barely audible. "I didn't do anything." But the strangest part was Harker's reaction. He didn't call for medical help immediately. Instead, he picked up the sandwich, stared at it, and whispered, "This doesn't make sense. It wasn't this." What did he mean? What did he think he saw? That question would turn the entire town upside down. News spread fast. A crowd gathered outside the police department by midnight. Jalen's mother, Mara Moore, stood in front of cameras, holding the wrapper from her son's sandwich. Mara, sobbing. This is what he died for. This stupid sandwich. The next day, students from Amber Falls High walked out of school and marched to City Hall. But the police department released a statement that shocked everyone. Officer Harker followed standard procedure, responding to an armed threat. Except the armed threat was a sandwich. And then came the twist. Investigators dug into Harker's record. That's when the town discovered a disturbing pattern. He had filed 9 separate reports in which objects looked like weapons. 9. And in 4 of those incidents, the objects were a cell phone, a hairbrush, an umbrella, and a chrome-wrapped energy drink can. But here's the twist that shocked even the investigators. Every single one of those weapon misidentifications, involved a black civilian. Not one involved a white suspect. Not one. This wasn't a mistake. This was a pattern. Psychologists reviewing the case proposed a theory. It wasn't just fear. It wasn't just bias. It was something called threat hallucination bias, a phenomenon where the brain misinterprets everyday objects as weapons when a person is already psychologically primed to expect danger. And Harker had been involved in a fatal shooting 2 years earlier, one that left him traumatized, but still on duty. The department knew. They sent him to therapy, but only for 10 days. 10 days for an officer carrying a firearm. Documents reveal something darker. Bodycam logs show Harker's camera didn't glitch. It was manually disabled, then reactivated 3 seconds later. Someone tried to hide something. Even worse, an internal memo shows a supervisor wanted to claim Jalen, charged aggressively, even before witness statements were collected. The department wanted a narrative before they wanted the truth. When Harker finally testified, his voice shook. He said, "I saw metal, something silver. I saw it clear as day." But forensic analysis proved the sandwich wrapper had gold foil, not silver. So, why did he swear it was silver? A neurologist gave the final revelation. Under stress, the brain sometimes creates the weapon it expects to see. Meaning, Harker shot an unarmed teen because his mind invented a gun that wasn't there. Jalen wasn't holding a weapon. He never even moved aggressively. His only threat was being a black teen holding a sandwich in a town with a fearful cop. Civil rights attorneys called it one of the most tragic and preventable shootings they had ever seen. The community demanded justice. Students held nightly vigils. Harvey's Market built a memorial where Jalen took his last bite. The police department made no apology, no admission, no accountability. Harker was placed on administrative leave with pay. A teen died for holding a sandwich. A cop pulled the trigger because he imagined a threat that didn't exist. And a town discovered that sometimes the most dangerous weapon is fear itself. But here's the question that will haunt Amber Falls forever. If a cop can invent a gun in his mind, how many more Jalens are at risk? Hit the subscription button for more real injustice stories like this.